Hey everyone, I hope you've had a fabulous afternoon, start of the week. Here to share what's new in Canva for Education. I'll be coming back a few times throughout the year. We've got lots of sessions organised, so yeah, hopefully I'll see some of you. Somebody just muted me. Yeah, hopefully I will see quite a few of you over the next year as we delve into these Canva for Education sessions. So wanted to cover off a few different areas today. We're going to look at some of the features that are new to Canva, very specific features that can help you really bring learning to life in the classroom. We'll also be looking at different apps that you can use within Canva, which are quite nice. And finally, looking at some of the training resources available. We've released a lot over the past 4 or 5 months, and our design school team has been really hard at work creating resources for you as teachers to help you, use those new features, but also introduce them to your classroom. There's no need to remember everything, take photos or anything like that. That QR code and that link on the right-hand side will get you to this presentation that I'm using today. And I'll also share that at the end. So yeah, don't think you need to write everything down or be concerned if I'm doing my usual and talking too fast. So let's first look at some of those new features that we've seen released over the past few months. Some of the features are brand new. Others have simply just been updated to include some better features. Some better capabilities. So the first one is grab text. And this one is where you can basically select the text in an image and transform that into a text so you can edit it. I think it's really important when we're talking about this one to be conscious of copyright requirements and knowing what you can and can't do. If you're not sure, I always find a teacher librarian is the best person to speak to. But it's interesting. I was trying to find an example of how I could demo this. I'll actually get out of presentation mode so that I can show this in action. But I used to be a teacher some many years ago, and so I jumped into my Dropbox and found some old teaching resources to show you exactly how this grab text works. It's super simple. In the editor, you just click on edit photo and then select grab text. But there was a great little activity we did back in the day at a school I was at. Hunger Games was really big at the time, and we did a really big creative writing competition. And so I jumped into Dropbox and actually found this image. So it's just a JPEG. I reckon I probably made it in PowerPoint or something like that. And if I wanted to edit that today, it'd be so hard to, get text and put it over the top and do all that sort of stuff. But with this grab text feature, it's so easy. You just have to make sure the image is selected, and then you select edit photo, and then you've got this grab text. And what it's going to do is, without me having to select it or anything like that, it's actually going to identify all of the text in that image, identify the font and match it as closely as it can, and then make all of those separate layers in my design. So now you can see that all of that text is a completely separate layer. And if I actually go to position and select layers, I can now see that all of those layers are completely separate and editable. So I can go in and edit those as well. So Magic Grab, I think, is a really cool tool, especially if, like me, you've got teaching resources that, you're not quite sure where your original source material is and it's all in JPEGs. I think Magic Grab can save you a whole lot of time. So yeah, that one's Magic Grab. We've also updated the accessibility capabilities from within Canva as well. So it's always recommended, if you're creating a resource, whether it be for students, whether it be for teachers, that you check your accessibility. So that one is as simple as, again, when you've got your document open, up in the top left-hand corner, you just have to select File and then Settings, and you can check your design accessibility, and that's going to check the typography and the color contrast and the alternative text on photos. And if it's not accessible, it's actually going to suggest to you how that needs to be changed to make it accessible. So definitely be checking your accessibility on your designs in Canva. All right, background remover has actually been around for a while. The ability to basically erase the background is really simple, but to restore the background hasn't. Oh, hello. To restore the background has not been a feature until now. So all you need to do that, and let me actually use the example that I've got on the next slide. So if I wanted to remove my background, again, making sure you've got the picture selected, you select edit photo and you remove the background. Now, most of the time it's perfect, but sometimes you're like, no, I actually wanted another part of that background kept, and you've never been able to go back and sort of restore a part of it or even all of it. But now if I go back in and edit photo and actually select the icon that's in the middle of background remover, it's going to give me the option to restore it. So what I might do is I'll show the image in the background. I might increase my brush size a little, and I might decide that I actually want to keep this person in the cropped image. So I just have to, we might even keep underneath the table, otherwise that might look a bit weird. And their hand, and select their body. And then I click back, sorry. There's no like OK or anything like that. I can click back, and now I've still got that person in the image. So yeah, just know that when you use background remover, once you've used it, you can also click the icon to go in and actually restore some of the background if you choose. So that one's a new little update to the actual background removing tool. You've also got the ability to sort of easily undo and restore the photo editing brushstrokes. So if you're editing a photo, it's super easy, whether it's background remover or magic edit tools, to go back in and now restore. So that restore capability has now been brought into some of those features, which is great. All right, a couple of apps. So if you don't know about Canva apps, so there are apps that Canva makes that integrate into your Canva design experience, but there's also third-party tools that are integrated as well. So whenever you're in a design, over on the left-hand side, you'll see apps. There's a whole library of apps that you can include. Like I use Bitly all the time to create my QR codes. Magic Media is one of the Canva tools. But then, like I said, there's a whole heap of third-party applications as well. We're going to look at a couple of those today. So the first one is Speed Paint. So this gives you the ability to transform any image and make it look like somebody has actually drawn that image on your screen. So again, you've got to make sure that app is opened in your navigation on the left-hand side. You can see I've actually already got it there. If you don't see it, however, you just click on Apps, Speed Painter. Right, is just this one here. Okay, so once I select that, you might have to click OK to accept it, but it will appear in your editor on the far left-hand side. So I basically want this image, instead of it being a static image of the water cycle, I want to be a little bit fancier and make it a drawn image. You can also choose your own file. So I just inserted this from the Canva Elements library. But if you've got your own picture, your own photograph that you would like to make it look like it's being drawn, you can use that as well. So I want the duration to actually go for like 20 seconds. And then rather than it just be a black and white drawing, I will also add 15 seconds of coloring in to the animation. And then I've got a selection of hands that I can choose from. So I might choose this second one here. And then when I'm ready, helps if you select the image. Then when I'm ready, I can click on Animate Image. So what it's going to do, the power of technology, is basically turn that image into a short video and make it look like it's been sketched. And it doesn't take too long. My internet should be okay. And that will pop the extra sort of image, the video onto the screen. taking its time. The other app we're going to look at in a second is called Sketch to Life, which will be another sort of drawing tool where you can turn your own drawing into an image using generative AI. But while I'm waiting for this to come around, in the chat, feel free to suggest some ideas. Like, when would being able to have something sketched be beneficial in your classroom, whether it's, presenting to students, whether it's a student activity? Why would this be a good activity to do yourself or to have students do? Just going to remove that. And I can't see the chat. Teams has changed since I started using it. I can't figure out how to bring the chat up so I can see it. Anyway, that's a tomorrow problem for me to solve. Finalizing the video, we're getting there. Oh, no, okay, cool. Yeah, no, have a multi-window thing anymore, but that's all right. I'll survive.
Kathy, you just put your hand up. Did you have a question at all?
Oh, not a question, but I just had a go while you were doing it then. Did a Lego figure. Worked out perfectly. Looks brilliant.
Yeah.
Love it.
We love good news stories like that.
Yeah,
awesome.
I will... just in the interest of time and everyone not being bored, I might move on to the next one. But as I think it was Kathy, sorry if I got that name wrong, said it was super simple and it worked fine with a Lego figure, which I like as an idea. But let's have a look at this sketched. Oh, there we go. Naturally. So it's popped it on the screen I'm in. That's okay. We'll just have a bit of a look at it once it's loaded. And here we go. So you can see it's sketching those mountains. It's drawing it feature for feature. And then it's that 15 seconds of coloring in as well. So yeah, feel free to play around with that one. I think there's lots of cool stuff that you could do, you and your students could do with Speed Painter. Then we have Sketch to Life. So Sketch to Life is quite a funny one in that you get to draw a picture. I think this could actually be really interesting for creative writing activities. So Sketch to Life is another app that you're able to use from within Canva, and you can basically do a drawing, and then it will generate a more comprehensive image based on your drawing. So if, for example, I was to draw a house, my old school house that I've been drawing since I was about 4 years old. Let's see what it does with that squiggle. Yeah, really good drawer. You can tell I don't have a touch-based device right now, don't you? Yeah, 3D, just so fancy. Look at that. So let's call that a house, and we'll generate and see what we get from this one. Again, feel free to pop your ideas in the chat about how you or your students might use this tool. Well, yep, my house definitely was generated appropriately according to my drawing. Let's try one more. And this time I might do a cat. And some whiskers naturally for a cat. Well, this might be better than house. We'll see. Could can't forget a nose. And some ears. And some paws. Oops. And we'll call that one a cat. I think creative writing is often the easy, oh, that's a bit funny, example to use for a lot of these. But again, would love to hear some of your ideas for how you might use that Sketch to Life app in your designs. It is freaking me a little bit out that the paws and tail are just there, but hey, you don't always win the generative AI. So that's why you can delete it and start again. But yeah, play around with that one. Remember, the apps are on the far left-hand side. You can search those, the whole library of them. So the ones we looked at were Speed Paint app and Sketch to Life app. All right, I think I can go into present mode now for a little while at least. So this one, like I said, is really looking at some of the training resources that have been created by our amazing design school team, predominantly based in Australia. So they will, create courses and resources for teachers to use in their classroom. Sorry, not necessarily in their classroom, but to use to learn or to use with your colleagues to learn. So the latest one that they've created is some of the practical guides for using AI and the AI tools in Magic Studio. Sorry, I will also point out Magic Studio AI tools are turned off by default for students. They are turned on for teachers, but turned off at the moment for students. So there will be a process we go through, hopefully, to get them enabled for students, but for now they are for teachers only. So these guides are designed for teachers to help you understand how to use some of those Magic AI tools that have been released in recent months. So yeah, check those ones out. Each one of the guides is a PDF guide. So super simple for you to access, print out, make available to your colleagues on a little PD afternoon or something like that. There's also some cheat sheets. The cheat sheets that the design school team make are also phenomenal. So one of the Magic Studio tools is called Magic Switch. It allows you to switch from one design type to another, but all of your content in that design comes with it and reformats. So you might convert, say, a presentation into a document that summarizes the content. This cheat sheet gives you some ideas for how you might use that Magic Switch tool and transform certain things into videos, websites, whiteboards, and docs. Remember, I'm sharing the link to this presentation at the very end, so you'll be able to come in here later and actually click on the presentations themselves, on the slides in the presentation. So when I've clicked that, it's just clicked the screenshot that has opened up the file in my browser. So yeah, all of those links both in the instructions, but also the screenshots themselves will be clickable for you. So yeah, that's Magic Switch. And let's have a look. I have shared these once before, but I thought it was worth just quickly sharing some of these features that have appeared in Magic Studio. So I'll jump out and do this by hand. So Magic Grab, we looked at Magic Grab for text before. What you can now do is just grab content from images as well. So in this case, it identified that I probably would want to grab that balloon and take that out of the picture, maybe put it into space for, again, a creative writing activity. So yeah, that's Magic Grab, nice and easy. And then we have Magic Write. So Magic Write is generative AI text-based tools. So if you wanted to write this particular bit of text in a more appropriate tone, you might make it more formal. So if I click on more formal, we'll see that that's been made more formal. Perhaps you're a little bit tired after your zoo excursion and you don't want to, you're just not in the mood to write something fun. You can click on that text, select Magic Write, and you can actually make it more fun. Sometimes it makes it a little bit too fun. Oh, look at that. That's fabulous. And then you've also got the ability to continue writing. So let's actually change this for school beginning for welcoming students back to school beginning on I have a feeling, no, yep, I've just deleted everything. Let's go 27th. Nope, I'm pretty sure that was a Saturday. 29th of January. It differs. So when I have that text, it's super simple for me to jump on over. So it's going to expand it out quite a lot. And it will, in this case, continue writing. And I've done that before. I actually specify. So if I'd actually written in South Australia, it probably would have continued with more specifics that are contextualized. So yeah, check out all of those options for Magic Write. You can continue writing, you can summarize, you can rewrite things, you can make it more fun, more formal like we showed, and sprinkle fairy dust is always a little bit of fun. We also have Magic Morph. So Magic Morph simply transforms elements, shapes, and words with different patterns and textures. So in this case, we might make this star a milky lime matte balloon. So it's one of those apps yet again. So if you search for Magic Morph, this one's an app made by Canva. All right, so we've got that element selected, and I'm going to make it a milky lime matte balloon. We generate that result. Get 4 options, so I can choose which one I want to adapt it to. So remember, all of those guides are available for each one of these new Magic Studio features. So we'll now do this one. And we've got a slightly different sort of shaded star instead. Then we have Magic Expand. So Magic Expand, nice and easy. It's simply just a matter of expanding the size of the image. So a lot of the time, you know, it might be that you've got to fill a particular newsletter or something like that. And rather than being one particular ratio, you actually want to make it 9:16 instead. And so the tool itself will fill that in to fill the space. In this case, we've got a bit of a forest with some trees at the top, fence and grass at the bottom. So it's likely going to extend the trees and the grass. We'll see what happens. Again, you get options provided so that you can choose one or the other. There we go. Oh, look, a beautiful little path. All right. So now that image is ready to use. Quite like that one. So yeah, play around with some of your images that you might want to expand out with Magic Expand. Just a reminder, you click on the image itself, then you select Edit Photo, and that's where you'll find Magic Expand. Right, some of them you find under Edit Photo, some of them you find in apps. Then we have Magic Edit. So this is where you can give it text-based instructions to do the editing. So in this case, we're going to write make the backpack a fluffy faux fur. Say that 10 times fast, my friends. So let's go to Magic Edit. And we're going to highlight what we want to change. And I need a bigger brush, otherwise we'll be here for 20 minutes. You don't have to be exactly perfect. It does actually figure out what you're trying to do most of the time. And let's not forget fluffy faux fur. Might make it pink. What do you want to add or change? Change the backpack to be a fluffy faux pink texture. Got some inspiration there as well, but we can click on generate. Oh, I left a hole. And there's my fluffy faux pink fur. That's again lots of words all at once. And I've got those different options. All right, you can see that one hasn't made it as fluffy. So I'll stick with the one that actually seems to have full coverage. So click on done, and you've got that image changed. So yeah, that one is your Magic Edit button. Magic Switch already sort of alluded to what they are, but the idea is it's really easy to transform your designs into different design types. So the resources, so more teaching resources, sort of leaving some of the Magic AI stuff behind. and looking at some of the lessons that have been introduced again in the last 4 or 5 months. So as teachers do, they search the interwebs for lessons and lesson resources. So within the Canva experience now, there are sort of ready to teach lessons. You obviously get the ability to edit and adapt those as well. So this cheat sheet shares how you can find both the curriculum-based lessons, but also some future skills lessons as well. So look for that cheat sheet in our teacher resource page. Oh, this one. Love this really simple guide. If you're a big fan of the flipped classroom, or you just like recording videos for students who need that little bit of extra support, maybe you make how-to videos for your colleagues, you can do that all within Canva. So you might make the presentation, but you can also use the record yourself feature in Canva to add that directly. And it's not like you're going to be using 2 or 3 different tools to create a content video. So this cheat sheet shares how simple it is to do that when you're in a presentation, simply just by clicking the Uploads tab, which is not where you would obviously find the Record Yourself button, but it's where you find it in Canva. So that little guide, I think that one's a great one to print out and share with your colleagues. We also have the ability to upload different resources. So if you've got existing content in PDF format or PowerPoint format or in a Microsoft Word document, if you upload that file type into your Canva project space, Canva will actually convert that content. So there's some restrictions there around maximum file size and that sort of thing. But it's super handy. Once teachers start using Canva, they're like, this is amazing. I want to use all my resources now. But you need to get your content out of those other formats to bring it into Canva and do the conversion, which is super easy. So that cheat sheets for that. Then we have the ability to directly connect to your Google Drive or your OneDrive. So, and also SharePoint. So if you're using Teams, for example, and you've got files in Teams, it's actually stored in SharePoint. So we have both a Google Drive app, a OneDrive app, and a SharePoint app as well. So like I did before with the drawing apps, you simply just click on the apps over on the far left-hand side of Canva, search for Google Drive, connect that app, sign in with your Google account, obviously, or OneDrive, whatever it might be. And then it's super easy for you to, grab any of your content out of there. Again, it saves you jumping off to another browser window, downloading it to your desktop, uploading it from your desktop into Canva. You're just tapping straight into it. It's so much easier. So again, great little cheat sheet to print out or share with people. Designing lessons is a very new feature in Canva, the ability to sort of bring content together in a lesson sequence. So this cheat sheet gives you a bit of a sense about the sort of content you can bring together from across Canva to bring into that single lesson experience. So again, just suggesting some ideas for how you might sequence that. And then the final 2 resources are sort of collections. So this resource was brought together again by our design school team for our back to school webinar that we ran just before your school year started. And in there are some great ideas. So there's links to a couple of courses and resources, but also just some standalone ideas for different subject areas in the classroom, different teacher admin processes. So when you get access to this presentation later, the short link is there. You'll also be able to click on the screenshot and go straight to that 22 slide presentation to access all of those resources. Highly recommend checking that out if you're looking for new ideas to use Canva. And then finally, your one-stop shop. I'll probably share this in every presentation I ever do, unless the design school comes up with an even better space. But this is definitely your one-stop shop for all things Canva as a teacher. So resources for both you to learn how to use Canva. There's a great teacher course in there. There's also a student course that you could use in student boot camps or at the beginning of a unit where you know you're going to be having your students use Canva quite a lot. Just to upskill both your teachers and students, those courses are really handy. And then within those are links off to all of the resources. And this page is updated regularly by our design school. So all of those resources for Magic Studio that I shared, the lessons, all of those are now linked in here, along with a whole heap of other content as well. So there's the most popular resource that Canva Design School's ever made for education is another cheat sheet with links off to different templates for use in the classroom. That one's also linked there. So yeah, save that resource, save that link if it's the only link you save today. So yeah, that's definitely what our design school has been working on a lot over the past couple of months. We had a lot of features released in October and November, so they've now spent a significant period of time creating resources for you to use all of those new features. So thank you. Hopefully that's given you a few ideas for using Canva in the classroom, a few resources for you to upskill yourself or your colleagues or your students, and a little bit of inspiration for your Monday afternoon to go and create with Canva. The link to the slides is on the screen. I know the session was recorded, so that will be available later. And I hope you all have a fabulous week.